Okay, let me start recording. Thank you, children, for rejoining. So one question that I was discussing with you all is, what steps did Sher Shah Suri take to make the trade and commerce flourish in his kingdom? So you can write any steps, any 3 steps you can write. Yes, Shambit?
One step was that developing caravanserais where traders could take rest among the when night came.
Okay.
Another step was building roads that connected places.
Yes, okay. Shinjana, one more.
That was my point.
Ma'am, can I tell one more?
Yes.
Ma'am, standardizing silver coins.
Standardizing silver coins. Here again, I can, twist the question a little bit and ask you, what step did Sher Shah Suri take to promote trade and commerce, which Muhammad bin Tughlaq could not maintain? Here you can write, if it is something like this, then you can always write he standardized. He introduced new silver coins and he made it standardized. While Tughlaq,
Muhammad bin Tughlaq could not.
I want to ask something. If
Muhammad
you give us
bin
this
Tughlaq
question,
was also called the wise fool.
wait.
Yes,
And if you give us this question, then ma'am, there will be only one point about this coin. One will be only write that one. Just one point.
You can write.
Okay.
The marks also will be accordingly. Remember, the marks will also be allotted accordingly. In general, if I ask you what steps did Sher Shah Suri take to make the economy of his kingdom strong, make the economic conditions strong, then you can write about agriculture also. Then you can write about trade also. You can, if it is in general economy. Sometimes this is also asked, why is Sher Shah Suri's name still connected with modern Indian economy? Modern India, how can we connect Sher Shah Suri's name with modern Indian economy? This is again the silver coin rupiah, which is the standardized coin that we use till now. Okay. One more we can write, he made good connection of roads to improve trade and commerce. Absolutely, Ayush. Correct point.
Ma'am, he also established law and order and he reformed the tax system to encourage trade.
He maintained law and order. I can ask you, what is the difference between Kabuliyat and Patta? Okay, what is the difference between Kabuliyat and Patta?
Patta is the proof of that you own a land, and Kabuliyat is like meaning the
dues of the state. Dues of the state.
Yes,
dues are listed, but what is the main difference?
Which states you have to pay
Kabuliyat actually stays with the governors or the people who are in charge, and Patta stays with the farmers.
The officers of the king, and the Patta is a document of the land assessment, quality of the land, which is given to whom?
The farmers.
The farmers and the peasants. The farmers and the peasants, the document that is given to the farmers and the peasants. What document? You must mention of assessment of land, that is the quality of land, or after assessing a land, the document that is given to the farmer is called the patta, while the document that is with the document that stays with the officers or with the state is the Kabuliyat. Please learn this importantly. And one more question can be, how did Humayun regain the throne of Delhi, or how did the Mughal rule restart? It can be another question. What will you say? Let's take Shinjana. Shinjana. How did Mughal rule restart?
Ma'am,
or got restart?
Humayun took help from
Humayun.
Yes, Shinjana answer.
Why are you always answering?
Tell.
Ma'am, Humayun's son, Akbar, took help from, Humayun took help from a Persian ruler and re-established the Mughal Empire.
Humayun took help from the ruler of Persia when? Sanjita?
Ma'am, because Sher Shah Suri's successors were not an able king, so he had an opportunity to re-establish Mughal Empire. So he took the help of the Persian rulers and
Re-established. Absolutely. Correct. So you have to mention this, that taking advantage of the weak successors of Sher Shah Suri, then Humayun attacked, after Sher Shah's accidental death, his successors were weak. Taking advantage of this situation, Humayun took help from the ruler of Persia and re-attacked Delhi. Last question or something. Okay, Obhirup Jana, can you tell me that what steps did Sher Shah take to promote agriculture in his kingdom? Obhirup Jana, can you say? Okay. So, what steps did he take? Odonil, any answer? What did he do to promote agriculture?
I can say. I want to.
Odonil.
Yes, ma'am. Can you repeat the question?
What steps did he take to promote agriculture in his kingdom?
Agriculture? Or the land revenue? The land revenue.
No, to promote agriculture also. Means what did he do
I will tell.
Help promote agriculture so that the farmers are not exploited?
Oh. Ma'am, let me hear it from him.
Okay,
I will clarify.
Okay. Yes.
He built irrigational canals. Point 1. Point 2. He assessed the land according to its yearly produce, and he fixed the state's share.
Right.
And can I give another point?
Canals. Okay, yes, Shombit. Canals is not coming here right away, but okay, fine. Yes, Shombit, say.
Ma'am, this point was read by me in a book. That is, he introduced the Rotwari system, which actually removed the landlord thing and the
Rotwari system
farmers.
comes in a little later on during the British rule. It was there. But yes, what did he do to promote agriculture? You can always say he assessed the lands, gave a document to the farmers so that the state share is fixed and the farmers are not exploited. And he also told his, officers to be lenient while assessing the land, so that
but strict while collecting the taxes.
This way, there is not too much of burden or exploitation on the farmers, and the farmers can enjoy the benefits themselves as well. There is no exploitation, overburden on the farmers. This way, questions can come. So prepare well and come and practice writing as well as short answers. Read in detail with clear understanding. Okay, I'll see you in geography class. Bye-bye.